look at sports. It felt incredible to be surrounded by like-minded people. I wonder where that is. Who wanted to live out their faith with joy and authenticity. I wonder where authenticity is. Oh, hello there. I didn't see you. And then I pulled out my earbuds because I don't know how to do this. Oh. Yes, that was a magazine from Sadie Picante's alma mater. The one where they preach all sorts of weird heresies. We were reading it today because why not? So in our first clip today, we wanted to look at what correctly summarizes the entire world today, which is like this guy who reviews MMOs and has nothing to do with anything else related to the show. So let's watch this clip, which correctly describes exactly everything that goes on in the world today, because the whole world is video games.
It's a totally acceptable piece of gaming history from 2001, and for 2001, it's impressive. But it's not 2001 anymore. And just like people who keep reminding you how cool they were 25 years ago, you're not with them 25 years ago. You're with them now, and you expect them to mature and be cool now. What Anarchy Online is right now is an aging MMORPG with old mechanics which will appeal to a shrinking subset of players, kept alive by the collected effort of its remaining community.
Now this is the part I like, because what this video game is made up by the constituents. Oh yes. Oh hi people. Oh hi. 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 Oh yes, JP3 went to... Wait, no he didn't. JP3 was born a few years ago.
Unfortunately, this extremely impressive community effort has also caused the community to meld emotionally with the game. I find it's a dangerous situation when someone ties their personality or personal validation to a system they do not own and cannot control. Because if you don't own it or control it, the most fundamental aspect of that system, its continued existence, is the one thing that you both essentially need and cannot guarantee.
And that's the really interesting point about the SSPX. They are tied to a system they can neither control nor guarantee.
In my original video, I praised two things, the music and the overall vibes. I still think they are amazing, but maybe the player base is adding to those vibes by keeping the buffing system going. And that same player base seemed resigned to the game's fate as a dying world. So
yes, so Anarchy Online is great. Oh yes. Anyway, I just like that clip. It was on my desktop for about like 6 months, so I decided to repurpose it. Welcome to the show. Oh, this is R&R 30, episode 30 from season 2. The NOWatch destroys Dan Davis. And did you know we're going to watch that clip now? Oh yes. The most recent Tradcast Express episode is touching on Quo Primum. Oh yes, we should talk to Michael Matt, and he will be like, I'm a boomer. Boomer sounds. Oh, that is wonderful. You know how to speak, old man.
Pope St. Pius V established that it could lawfully be offered by any priest in perpetuity, and that gives all Catholic priests the right to use the traditional missal forever. And there are a number of sedevacantists who believe that also, simply because that's been the prevailing traditionalist view since the 1960s. However, that view is not correct, as we will see shortly.
And now we're going to jump to random clips of... Oh, wait, why am I getting a notification? Oh, now we're going to jump to random clips of Dan Davis, Sanctity. So this part of the show is very schizo. Don't think it makes sense, because it probably doesn't. But you're going to notice it says, oh, wait, why is it this thing? Anyway.
And I know that there are those in the Sadie community who believe that Cum Ex Apostolatus was rendered defunct by the introduction of canon law in 1917. But that's just flat wrong. It's objectively wrong.
The semi-trad podcaster Dr. Taylor Marshall made a big deal about this on his show on January 29th. Here's a quote from the Apostolic Constitution, Quo Primum, quote, "Furthermore, by this law, in virtue of our apostolic authority, we grant and concede in perpetuity that for the chanting or reading of the Mass in any church whatsoever, this missal is hereafter to be followed absolutely." Now, on the face of it, that does indeed seem to be saying exactly what so many traditionalists think, that nobody, not even a future pope, can forbid a priest from offering Mass according to this missal.
Oh, so now let us line up the clip. So you see, the point is, Dan Davis says anyone who disagrees with them is just objectively wrong. But the actual argument Dan Davis is making is that Quo Primum is perpetually binding because it says the word perpetual. Yes.
By this our Constitution, which is to remain valid in perpetuity.
See, this line right here is the same argument that Taylor Marshall's going to make. Valid in perpetuity.
Listen to this.
Pius V says, in perpetuity, not for my pontificate, not for the next 100 years, not for the next 1,000 years, in perpetuity.
And I know that there are those in the Sadie community who believe that Cum Ex Apostolatus was rendered defunct by the introduction of canon law in 1917.
We have a permission by apostolic authority by a pope that says it's in perpetuity.
But that's just flat wrong. It's objectively wrong.
By virtue of our apostolic authority, we grant and concede in perpetuity.
Pope Paul IV says, hence, by this our Constitution, which is to remain valid in perpetuity.
Well, yeah, but no, there is no buts. That's it.
Oh, Dan Davis is using the same exact logic and the same exact argument as Taylor Marshall. Oh, it's almost as if Dan Davis shouldn't be doing theology because he doesn't know how to. Did I just say something bad about Dan Davis? No. Oh, Mario explains.
However, when you dig in,
Hey, you're not supposed to watch the show that I'm clipping so then you know what it's about. Oh,
into this issue, you find that that is simply not the case. And we'll see why in just a moment. Boy, that sure sounded confident and persuasive. And yet, it is all wrong. Here's why. For one thing, every pope has the exact same authority as any other pope. So, in matters of discipline, and yes, the sacred liturgy falls under the category of discipline.
oh, wait, the discipline can change. Cum Ex Apostolatus is also disciplinary. Oh no.
What one pope establishes, another can modify or take away. That's not just church teaching, it's also common sense. But then, what about the wording? Does in perpetuity not mean forever, always, henceforth, without end? In papal legislation, the phrase in perpetuity simply means that the law being established has no automatic expiration date, so to speak. It does not mean that it can never be changed or rescinded by the competent authority, meaning by another or even the same pope.
And then a black screen. Hey, great job editing, Sadie B. Why don't you write the note so we know what the next clip is? So, to summarize, yes, Cum Ex Apostolatus Officio is not divine law because of its wording. And because of its wording, it says funny things that Dan Davis cannot do. We'll get to
In
that
his
in a second.
papal bull, Cum Ex Apostolatus. That's Pope Paul IV the fourth, not modernist Pope Paul VI the sixth.
Now you're gonna wonder why that was really funny because he put really, really loud sound effects and didn't turn them down. So if you didn't personally muted, it was really, 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 really annoying. But why aren't you laughing? You there in the audience, he went, bing! Oh no! That means it is funny. Why did Stephen Cox just reply to me? Huh. No, no, not boo. Yay!
Well, Paul IV says, by this constitution, which is remained valid in perpetuity, the abomination is still great crime, than which none in the Church of God can be greater or more pernicious. By the fullness of our apostolic power, we enact eternal decree and find that each and every member of the following categories: bishops, archbishops, deacons, finest cardinals, legates, house bearers, marquises, mixed and
Essentially, Mr. Davis is saying, oh, we already covered this, NAP. This note is terrible. Because of the wording, it is not eternal law, it is purely disciplinary. So in this clip, what you need to do is look at the literal text. They're very different, and hence they're two different laws. Therefore, you cannot say they are both in effect. But then Dan Davis is like, no, I get to make up the rules for myself. Oh.
The wording regarding automatic loss of office without operation of the law is specifically cited in Canon 188.4.
So the wording here is they lose their office, but Cum Ex Apostolatus says they also lose their church buildings. And they're linked together.
And Cum Ex Apostolatus is even footnoted as...
Well, he also did speed himself up in the original clip, so when I sped it up, it just made it worse, and I was having fun with that.
That's the source. So this writing still has the force of law even today. Censures shall also automatically, without any exercise of law or application of fact, be thoroughly, entirely, and perpetually deprived of their orders and cathedrals.
So you see, the problem is, it has all these extra words in here. Where's the epic pen? Epic pen. That includes other things other than just simply loss of office. So it's like, oh, this is about the sentence. Too big to fail. Well, let's go on. Sentences, censures are also automatic without execution of law, and cathedrals. So this is clearly not divine law, because sentences, censors, exercise of law, and cathedrals are not divine things. It would be like saying, oh, you are always going to be a right-handed baseball player, even in heaven. But that is not true, because in heaven you will be able to be both hands.
And cathedrals, and cathedrals, and cathedrals, and cathedrals.
Yes, the texts are different, and one includes temporal things, which means it is not divine law. It is disciplinary. And Ryan Grant made a whole article about how it was disciplinary, and literally the Salza book made 10 pages about how it was disciplinary, and everybody knows it's disciplinary. And then there's Dan Davis in 2025, 20 years after everybody knew it was disciplinary. Hey guys, this isn't disciplinary. Sorry, I'm Dan Davis. I'm God's gift to mankind. How dare you not kiss my ring? Yay, I'm Dan Davis. Yes, oh, that is how Dan Davis sounds if you turn up the volume. Oh, we will ordain you virtually after you pay for your consecration. Now let's replay the
And I
clip.
know that there are those in the Sadie community who believe that Cum Ex Apostolatus was rendered defunct by the introduction of canon law in 1917.
And there are a number of sedevacantists who believe that also, simply because that's been the prevailing traditionalist view since the 1960s.
But that's just flat wrong. It's objectively wrong.
Oh yes, the more you know. Did you know? Yes, anyway. Oh, so now let's get to the next clip. Anthony Abate watches the news in his car. What is this? Oh, the holy chat box. Guys, I'm in the car. I'm in the car, guys.
The news this morning about the SSPX consecrating new bishops. The thing that stands out to me the most is the absolute glee that some people have at the prospect of excommunications coming down.
Oh, people on the internet had reactions. I'm shocked. I'm so shocked. My heart. Imagine being on the internet and people have reactions. No. And so the other people's reactions stand out the most to me. Are you going to block them too, Anthony Abate? Oh no, Rob, that man had a reaction I don't like. Rob, block him. Oh. In this next clip, Ant hates on people who actually read and understand ecumenism from Vatican II. Oh. Bum, 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 bum.
And the labels of schismatic and this and that. Now, these are the same people who will bend over backwards to tell you how Protestants are our separated brethren and we need to treat them with the utmost charity, and the Orthodox pray for the unity of the East and West and want.
Yeah, that's because, you see, Anthony Abate, there's this thing that happened like 60, 70 years ago, I don't even know anymore, called Vatican II. And in Vatican II, it said, that we're with the Protestants and the Orthodox and the Mormons and the Seventh-day Adventists and the people playing World of Warcraft. Oh, yes, we're all one with them. And then Anthony's like, but I'm just going to pretend Vatican II didn't happen. Oh, these people are stupid. Oh, Council of No Power. Oh, it's like, oh. Hey, Abate, have you ever known that history exists outside of yourself? He's like a woman doing the emotional what about meeting, like, you didn't open the door for me? Now I can't get out of the car. Why haven't you opened the door for me? Hello? I'm still in the car. Yes, that is Anthony Abate. He's an emotional woman. Yay!
Yeah, but then when they
skibidi for some reason,
see their Catholic brothers and sisters who just want to be able to go to Mass in the ancient rite.
We would like to point out the rite he's talking about was made less than 100 years ago. That's the latest update to it. So like, it's the ancient rite. Oh yes, that's right. Which religion do you believe in? I believe in the really, 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 really old rite. When did Abate become a old Catholic? Oh yes, I am an old Catholic. My rite is the ancient one. Oh no, Abate, they want the 1962 missile because we're talking about the SSPX. It's the modernist one that isn't modernist enough to know if it's out. Oh, you should wear a construction helmet. But then I find that nothing actually fits on the head. You see, it's not shaped like a normal head. It's kind of a bad head.
And believe the doctrines from before the council.
They want to believe the doctrines from before the council and not the doctrines of the council? Like, is Abate a Sede, or is he just a complaining woman?
Those people, they cannot wait to cut off.
I know. They're Latin Massists. Yes, Father Cicada is correct about everything. Yeah. We know. That's the name that should be the name of every single episode I do. Father Cicada was right. Oh no. Yeah, and they're in schism with the Vatican II religion because the Vatican II religion says that you have to accept the Pope in Lumen Gentium 25, I think, or else it's 21. I think it's 25. And therefore, they don't get to do what they want to do. But the Protestants are not under the Pope, get to do what they want to do because they're not under the Pope. Therefore, your brothers get to do what they want to do, and you're under the Pope, and you have to go to the Novus Ordo. That's how it works in the religion of Vatican II, and has been ever since Vatican II was implemented in 1969. So why would the Vatican II religion want them? Good question. In this clip, Ant has no idea where bishops come from. Oh.
The fact that they don't want Rome to help consecrate bishops for the society, like the society.
We would like to remind the audience there are different consecration rites that the SSPX would use and Rome would use. So like, oh, all of a sudden, I'm a liturgical nominalist. Anything it says, it goes. If he says, this is the cup of wine and the winter vassal, which I'll say the Picante is drinking right now, then that is the real words of consecration. Yay! I'm Anthony Abate. Everything is nothing.
We cannot continue on without bishops. They will just die off.
So Abate says they cannot continue on without bishops. They will just die off. Really? That's why all of these groups got a bishop and could make the SSPX bishops without the SSPX even wanting to. Oh no! That's what they already did with Bishop Wa, who was SSPX. And then, oh no, he's a bishop now. Oh. It's almost like Abate lives in a little imaginary world where he is God. Yep.
And they'll be crushed if they have no bishops.
They will be crushed if they have no bishop. Did you know? Magically, a giant boulder comes, like Indiana Jones, and crushes you as soon as your bishop is gone. Oh, this is fantastic.
They're down to 2 left, I think.
What? Oh, no. Oh, no. In this clip, Ant is always surprised when anyone in the whole world has a different opinion than him. Oh, it must be wonderful being Anthony Abate. Every day he goes out, the price of eggs is not 59 cents an egg, it's less? Since when? Oh, my heart. Oh, hey, excuse me, sir. You're not a Catholic. Oh, someone else in the world doesn't believe what I believe. Oh. Like, why is Anthony Abate, who lives on the internet, always shocked when he sees things on the internet?
It's really baffling to me to watch Catholics excited about this. I don't get it. Like, this should be heartbreaking for anybody who genuinely cares about the good of others' souls.
It should be heartbreaking that anybody would care about this issue or what? Like, I don't get the take. Oh, aren't you sad? The mommy and daddy are fighting. Meanwhile, my bishop's a total gay, and I know that, but like, other people shouldn't have bishops. Only I should have a oh no, he's a gay, no! So we don't want trad bishops because Anthony Abate doesn't understand the issues. In this clip, Anthony plays really stupid because he is.
Like, you don't want to see a schism. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I'm not qualified to even understand the ramifications of this entire thing.
I'm not qualified to understand the ramifications of this entire thing. Then maybe shut up and get off the internet. Hey guys, I'd like to take money. Oh, by the way, if you look above me, there's the stupidtip.gg/Picante if you would like to support the show. But don't give me money because I'm not actually qualified to use a Muppet. This isn't actually a Muppet. This is actually what Sadie Picante looked like. And like, I control the human. Yeah, I'm not even qualified to be on screen. I'm not even qualified to use the internet. I don't know how it works. Like, what man says on a stream just so he doesn't have to get into trouble with other people? I'm not qualified to give an opinion. In a video, he's giving an opinion about. Coward! You don't get more effeminate than that.
I don't think that the entire SSPX gets excommunicated if this happens. It would just be the bishops who perform the consecration and those who are consecrated.
Is Abate heartbroken over the James Martin coming on Stephen Colbert show and broadcasting Leo's approval of his LGBTQ plus community? Oh, probably. Do you really think Abate watches Stephen Colbert? Like, does anybody watch Stephen Colbert at this point? I thought he left. I thought he was gone. What the heck? Who is even Stephen Colbert? That is right. Now, in this clip, Anthony doesn't like it when people fight. even though his whole show was about him being the tough guy in Italy. And he's like, oh, when you attack my family, I cry in the bathroom with my wife. And Rob's wife, too.
I don't know. The whole situation was sad to me this morning. Just watching other Catholics excited to see people get excommunicated or be declared schismatics. I don't know.
No, other people were fighting and it hurts me so much. You know, if you actually made it about like your own life or something, maybe it would work. But instead, it's like, oh, I watched other people. Your contribution to Sede Picante goes to Sailorcast. What? No, it doesn't. Screw those people. What the heck? Anyway, and now let's get to Anthony Stein. Yay! Yay! Schism is fun. Clips from Return to Tradition from the 12th. Oh yes, that was from today. Now I had to play these ones first because it gives context to the rest of all the other clips. And in these clips, we're going to hear that Anthony Stein's just a straight up modernist who really doesn't have a single ounce of theology in him. Gasp! Who knew? In this clip, Stein feels for his religion, theology doesn't need to be addressed at all. Just feel. Yes, that's right. The guy who does a show discussing about how bad everything is purely bases his religion entirely on feelings.
But after Vatican II, all the sacraments had their forms changed. Not some say in a fundamental way that calls them into question. I don't take that position. I know that the post-conciliar sacraments are valid, that they can affect grace. I've experienced that grace in my life.
Did you know you can experience grace?
I don't doubt the validity of the new form of confession or the other things. But
so, on a level of 1 to 10, how much grace did you get today, Anthony Stein? Because you felt it. Oh, just like I felt drinking this winter Vossel. Delicious. Don't you love it when these guys who are like the talking heads, their actual argument is, well, I felt good. That donut must have had sanctifying grace in it. 12 donuts? That's 12 sanctifying graces for the price of one! Wow! Like, oh, do you know coffee exists too? Well, I drank the coffee. Oh, I feel great. What? Is this the sacrament of caffeine? Oh, wow! Like, oh, wow, yeah. My experience-based religion. Oh, I feel the validity. Oh, Stein has put on weight, but somehow has lost gravity. Always remember, when you need to boost your arguments, use demons. Yeah.
exorcism, the rite of exorcism has been changed. And Father Ripperger and others who are exorcists have spoken at length about how the new form of exorcism, it works, but the preconciliar form is much more powerful.
Oh, you always remember to the preconciliar form of casting out demons is more powerful than the current one. Therefore, we know they're real sacraments. Don't you just love it? In this clip, Stein has no spine. Stein has no Stein. Ugh. Stein has no spine, therefore all bishops should randomly use whatever rites of theology they want because reasons. Yes, in this clip, Anthony Stein declares that we should just have total spiritual, liturgical, juridical anarchy. I agree with him, but I think he's retarded.
This is testing the waters. This is what I want every good bishop to do. I want every good bishop who is afraid to act to push the boundaries of Traditionis Custodes.
I want every good bishop who's afraid to act to push the boundaries of Traditionis Custodes. Now, what he's talking about here is there's one like nutty bishop who just randomly decided, even though he's Novus Ordo, to use the Latin rite or the 62 rite. And now Anthony Stein is like, every good bishop should just do it. Just do it. Yeah, that's right. Just do it. Who cares about rules and oaths of that priests take to bishops and bishops to pope and their vows? Just do what you want to do.
Frankly, I want to see some of them violate Traditionis Custodes. It's an unjust law, and an unjust law is no law at all.
Oh, an unjust law is no law at all. Oh, isn't that what Martin Luther said about the Pope and doing the indulgences? Yes, it is. And he was right. But that's not the way it works in Catholicism, because these aren't laws. They are church laws. They should be on equal power, but it offends me. Like, to not you. Did you know there's this one Novus Ordo priest who was mad at the 2010 general instruction of the Roman Missal change, and he wouldn't say them? And then he retired and he was like, what was the point of the revolution if we got to say end with your spirit? Gosh darn it, it's supposed to be end with you. No! It was like Pastor Bob or something. I know. Find me the one good quote bishop. How many atheists have used the same exact argument, by the way? It's called the argument from evil. God couldn't do bad thing. Bad thing exists, therefore no God. Law can't be bad, therefore not law. Therefore do what you want to do. Okay. Is that the end of the clip? No, it's going on.
Remember, everyone has become a canon law expert and thinks the SSPX are schismatic because
everyone has become a canon law expert and thinks the SSPX are schismatic.
They're going to do something that had always been allowed in the church and
had always been allowed in the church. Actually, it hadn't. It was more complex than that, with minor bishops being made by the metropolitans, with the local bishops, and the major bishops generally being appointed by the Pope. So it's like, is way oversimplification, but okay.
Strictly speaking, is still allowed, since quick reading of canon law makes it pretty clear that if a bishop takes a course of action that violates canon law but legitimately thinks it's a state of emergency in the church, then they get a pass.
Oh, let's play that again. Did you know this stupid law we made fun of Nick Cavazos a year ago for saying? It's what literally everyone thinks. Hey, Cardinal Thuck, because I have mental feelings about you being very dumb and annoying to me, well, therefore I can make you a bishop. What?
Had always been allowed in the church, and strictly speaking is still allowed.
It's always been allowed, and strictly speaking, it's still allowed that I can make Cardinal and Burrito a bishop. Because the tradition is bigger than the law. So much for Vatican I. I guess everyone's a Gallicanist now.
Since quick reading of canon law makes it pretty clear that if a bishop takes a course of action that violates canon law but legitimately thinks it's a state of emergency in the church, then they get a pass. Pretty clear in canon law. Even
I know that.
I understand that much.
Yeah, even I understand that much. Yeah. I need to play Papal again.
In canon law, even I understand that much.
yeah, even I understand that much. Yeah, people. All right, so we have 6 clips left. Oh, good. We can get out of here in too long. Anthony Stein video on the SSPX is spicy reason. The Anthony Stein video on the SSPX spicy reason question: does comment, public statements constitute assent, or do we just not know? Okay, whatever the heck that meant, say in this clip, we start to say what constitutes the crisis in the church. Is it just what we look at and what we feel? But we'd like to take a look at Dr. Mailer's comment. The supposed Pope says it's not an emergency, and only the executive can declare an emergency. So declaring an emergency means you're triumphing over the executive, which is only done by Thuck, because Thuck is the de facto Pope of the entire world. But anyway. Oh, can we just pray for this guy? Where's the clip? Where's the drop? Where's the drop?
Can we just pray for this guy? Pray for this guy for real?
Oh, yes. Oh, for real. Can we just pray for him?
There's an example of how you can tell there is a crisis in the church, and it comes from and is fed into by the very top of the church.
So there's a crisis in the church, and it's being made by the actual top of the church. Has Anthony Stein ever read the Bible before?
Posted to the Pope Leo XIV X account. Yet posted 2 days ago. The proclamation of the Word of God becomes ineffective if it loses contact with reality, with human hopes and sufferings, and if it uses incomprehensible, uncommunicative, and anachronistic language. In every age, the church is called to propose anew the word of God in a language capable of taking flesh in history and reaching hearts. Said this at his general audience with a link to it. As somebody points out here, the Catholic Esquire, who is a blogger and I think podcaster, he says, and yet the Council of Trent says the Latin Vulgate always and forever can be relied on as a faithful translation. How can a Catholic even ponder the idea that Holy Scriptures can become ineffective and divorced from reality and human hopes?
Yes, Catholic Esquire. Oh, this is the crisis. He's not saying the right thing. What is he saying? Heresy, perhaps? It's like, oh, this isn't heresy. You don't know that. Oh, I don't know that it's heresy. It's crisis. Yes, we call it crisis. And he's not a pope. He's a crisis pope. Wait, Bannister's live streaming again? Oh, do tell. I know he did the thing with Kyle Whittington recently. It's in my browser. I haven't watched it yet. I love Bannister. He's so great. He even remembers who I am, which is even funnier. Like, why would you remember who the Muppet is? Anyway, but you see, we can see the crisis. I can look, and I can point at the crisis. There on the screen, right there. That is the crisis. And I know it's a crisis, and you know it's a crisis, and you know it's a crisis, and everybody knows it's a crisis. But we don't know what the crisis is. We just know it's a crisis. It's almost like 9/11. Oh, the war on crisis. Yes, the war on crisis. Oh, no. In short, the Esquire just called the Pope a liar about theology and a non-Catholic. Except he's a beta cuck. Esquire's like the biggest cuck in the world. It's like, guys, it's a crisis. Emergency of crisisnesses. Oh, but if he's the baby, he's the Pope. But it's a crisis Pope.
Just sucks the life out of being alive.
That's right. It just sucks the life out of being alive. In this clip, dare we actually say anything at all? Of course not. Stein has no spine. The war on crisis must continue.
Part of the modern problem in the church is ambiguity. And the ambiguity always serves to fuel the ecumenical tendencies of Rome as well.
Oh, ambiguity, the crisis of ambiguity. Oh, and the crisis of ecumenism. Oh, we don't know what it is.
That are tantamount to denying the gospel.
Wait, they're tantamount to denying the... What does denying the gospel do? Another crisis.
To fuel the ecumenical tendencies of Rome as well as some other things that are tantamount to denying the gospel. Again, a hard take for some to hear.
Oh, so publicly denying the gospel is not heresy, it is a crisis. Oh, yes. So why even have a YouTube channel if that's all you're going to say? If you needed more evidence that Stein has no spine, in this clip, he says that a nun ruling over priests goes against nature. Oh, yeah, it's a crisis. I don't know. Does anybody know what Ingo Authority is saying? It's a crisis. Oh.
Diabolic inversion. This has never been done in the history of the church, and it goes against nature.
Removes every single bit of joy you can get out of life.
Oh, I love that guy. That guy, awful coaching. I keep watching him. I can't help it. I can't look away. It's so bad. Anyway, Stein could read divorce papers that his wife left and took the children, and he wouldn't believe it was real.
Every single bit of joy you can get out of life.
Oh, in this clip, Tuccio will meet with the SSPX. Say it with me. Stein has no spine. Oh, the war on crisis continues.
Pray for that meeting. Maybe pray that Cardinal Fernandez has an interior conversion to the Catholic faith away from whatever it is he believes in.
Maybe Tuccio will start believing the Catholic faith. That's right. The heads of the church that Stein belongs to do not profess or hold the Catholic faith. I wonder which religion Stein is in. I'm in union with Protestants. But I'm not a Protestant.
Maybe pray that Cardinal Fernandez has an interior conversion to the Catholic faith away from whatever it is he believes in.
Oh, wait. What was that Stein who has no spine? Did you just call a cardinal a heretic, but you can't dare to call a pope a heretic? Because they both believe the same exact thing?
Maybe pray that Cardinal Fernandez has an interior conversion to the Catholic faith away from whatever it is he believes in.
Oh, I keep playing that clip for some reason. Anyway, he's no problem telling you, but anybody else who doesn't hold the Catholic faith, did you notice that? Hey, look at Jimmy Martin and the Jimmy Martin issue. Oh, he doesn't hold the Catholic faith. How did you know? How come you get to judge Tuccio and Father Martin, the holy Jesuit, who just wants to help homosexuals have marriages and confirmations? But you can't judge the Pope. Seems a little sus.
You remove any part of life being enjoyable. Look at him smiling right now.
But seriously, he does remove all the parts of life. In this part 2, Stein has no spine. In this clip shows how vile and wicked the SSPX leaders are. Money.
The response.
This is actually the best comment. It's easy. A cardinal's a heretic until he's elected pope. And then, the heresy disappears. We don't know if he's a heretic. What's going on?
Like Archbishop Lefebvre in his time, the society has always been anxious not to proceed, but follow providence, allowing itself to be guided by its indications. A decision of such importance cannot be taken lightly or in haste, meaning they're not just rushing into this titanic decision. This was not a decision that we could take without concretely manifesting our recognition of the authority of the Holy Father. They explicitly say here, they respect the authority of the Holy Father. That's why they went to him in the first place.
SSPX, what are you doing? Now, the reason why we're playing these clips is because I'm actually going to build a case. I'm going to start right now. I'm going to build a case that we get a real pope. And the people who defy this pope, who are modernists now, like, maybe the Archbishop of California. And he's going to say, look, I respect the pope. But I'm going to do what the SSPX did. So we need to listen to what the SSPX actually say. I respect and recognize this Pope, and screw you, I'm going to do whatever you want. You're a bad dad, therefore all your laws are null and void. I know. Now in this clip, Stein is a edgelord. Oh no, you two better not be listening. Oh no.
This is where it starts to get pretty spicy. And some of this will have to be a little careful how we talk about this on YouTube.
We better be careful about how we say the Jimmy Martin event. Dun, dun, dun. It's a crisis of YouTube. And this clip is essential to the argument I'm laying out now. The SSPX had the right by grave necessity. Right? So when we get a real pope, who else is going to have the right by grave necessity?
Indeed, the mere existence of a necessity for the good of souls does not mean that in order to respond to it, any initiative whatsoever is automatically justified. But in our case, after a long period of waiting, observation, and prayer, it seems that the objective state of grave necessity in which the souls, the society of St. Pius X, and the church find themselves today calls for such a decision.
So the Society of Pius X is judging the state of the church. I didn't know they could just judge the church. Or is it because there's a crisis? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, look, a crisis. Help, help, a crisis. Now I will suspend all credit card payments. Yay. You see how this works? Thanks, SSPX, but which side are you really on? Literally every incel makes the same argument. After I prayed and I spent some time thinking for the good of humanity, will you go out with me? Oh, thanks for the stream, said a Templar, the 7th. Yes, Tucho will kiss the SSPX back into communion with Leo. Oh yes, Leo the kissing lion. But you notice, like, after thinking and praying, do you want to go out with me? This is literally what every single incel says on college campuses. Like, will you go out with me? Will you make bishops? Will you give me money? Like, sometimes it's really hard to take the SSPX seriously when, like, I spent so much time in deep prayer, man. Yeah, I was praying. This is step 2 of my argument. If we can privately discern a need based on an observation, the observation of the emergency of crisis.
The Second Vatican Council remains more.
You need to put the Nick Cavazos and Christy Nell songs on Spotify. I had no idea Nick asked out 500 to 1,000 women? What? No way. Oh.
More than ever the compass guiding today's churchmen, and they are unlikely to change course in the near future. Furthermore, the major orientations already taking shape in this new pontificate, particularly through the most recent consistory, only confirm this.
So let's rephrase the argument. Furthermore, the major orientations already taking shape in the pontificate of Pius XIII, and particularly through the most recent documents condemning Vatican II, only confirm that there is an explicit determination to end the line of Francis and the holy work of Cardinal James Martin. It's literally the same argument that the modernists are going to make. An
explicit determination to preserve the line of Pope Francis as an irreversible trajectory for the entire church is discernible.
Yes, we can discern the need for the future. In this clip, Stein is no spine. Therefore, public and persistent heresy is not a problem.
Yes, Leo is a Francis II in terms of doctrine and theology. That is why they must continue.
Leo is Francis II. He said it. Yeah, now we all agree.
Because it puts the church in grave peril.
Can the Pope put a church in grave peril? Never mind, it's just a crisis. And now we get to step 3 of the argument. Look, I can see the problems, and there's this Pope that's coming through, and we have to do what is right to save souls. Therefore, I have the right above the Pope to act. What if the Novus Ordo agreed to bishops, but only if they were consecrated by a Novus Ordo bishop? I hope that doesn't happen. I will have to lose my mind. Oh, Taylor Marshall is having an audience with Pope Leo XIV, and we'll probably hand him a copy of his new absurd book. That's fantastic. Oh, how the Vatican was purged of all the snakes.
It's sad to acknowledge, but it is a fact that in an ordinary parish, the faithful no longer find the means necessary to ensure their eternal salvation. There is a spicy take right there.
It is a spicy take that we must do what is not being done by the parishes, which do not ensure everyone can find their salvation. And our friend says, Michael Matt said Leo is not the Francis II, and any idiot could say that, so he isn't. Oh, that is fantastic. No. What does Michael Matt ever say anything intelligent? Well, so the next line that the SSPX leader lines up is that he can, because it's a crisis, make a judgment on how other people are being saved or not. I don't know about heresy, but I know about other people's eternal salvation, which is known only to God. But I don't know about heresy.
Why does he say that? Missing in particular are both the integral preaching of Catholic truth and morality, and the worthy administration of the sacraments as the Church has always done.
Oh yeah, they're not doing the sacraments properly, so that now we know for a fact they're all going to hell. But we don't know about heresy. No. That's a crisis. In this clip, Stein is coping as hard as Anthony Abate, trying to explain why CC1 was Catholic. We're referring to Abate trying to cope and explain it away, but you know.
He's not saying.
I know. Oh, look what a wonderful hat Mr. Rommel has. Did you know? That hat is very pretty. Were the administrations of the sacraments.
That the sacraments at your typical parish are invalid. He's saying they're not offered worthily.
They're not invalid. They're just offered badly. Therefore, people go to hell. Yes, that is what the SSPX guy is saying. He's saying, oh, because they're stupid, therefore, oh no, I accidentally didn't say the words of consecration. And then the people in the pew accidentally committed mortal sins, and I accidentally got the sacrament of penance wrong, and then they accidentally weren't forgiven, and then they accidentally stepped on an icicle and died.
How? When Catholic morality is not taught, people are making invalid confessions. That's what he means.
But it's not just that. It's actually all the sacraments would be invalid, including the Novus Ordo are now notorious for baptizing babies not on the head. So, like, it's so bad we need a series of the mysteries of the invalid sacraments at this point. Also, all marriages are invalid too in the Novus Ordo, by the way, because like the people don't know what they're getting into. So like they can't actually consent because marriage in the Novus Ordo is about personal fulfillment, and you can't consent to that. So technically, I think literally every single Novus Ordo sacrament is invalid. Do you like how, they're not doing the sacraments right, can become? Let's think about this. Reverse the argument. All these traditional sacraments do not explain themselves enough. Therefore, all the traditional sacraments are invalid and do not save souls because what the heck? There's 37 people watching the show. I should take another week off and then there will be another 37 people watching the show. What the heck is going on here? Did school get out early or something? Anyway. I know, but he's right. If personal, like something about Pope Francis is pretty cool is that he was pretty much a straight shooter in a lot of ways. Like when he thought that Luther was right on justification, he said it. But I would agree with him. If marriage isn't the consent with the intention to have children, whether or not you fulfill it later, and it's actually this personal interdevelopment thing, then quite frankly, I do agree. I have to agree that 50% of all marriages are invalid. And then the backtracked. No. Yeah, this is the real problem. The real problem with the SSPX is that they are valid priests inside of the Novus Ordo. But in this clip, public evidence is now a grave necessity. But remember, we don't know public heresy. We just don't know. It's a crisis. It's a crisis of knowledge. Hashtag equality. Oh, it is very sad, yes. The rundown left a hole in all of our hearts that could only be filled by a bigger hole.
That is a grave state of necessity. The very fact, by the way, that most Catholics who go to Mass on a regular basis do not believe what the Church teaches on the real presence is by itself justification.
The fact that Catholics go to Mass and do not believe what the Church teaches is not a grave justification for anything. Yeah, it's just them not being Catholic. Like, can we stop pretending? Can we stop making things up? Oh, did you know this man named Hierolyth in exile? He does not know about how much fun it is to play with puppets. That is a grave error. No, we must buy him a $300 Muppet because he is living without having a Muppet. Oh, grave necessity. What? Like what? No, it means they're not Catholic.
For the claim of a grave crisis in the Church.
Yes, the grave crisis in the Church. In this clip, Stein has no spine. Is the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church an NGO? Yes or no?
Remember the warnings of Malachi
Oh,
Martin
boy.
of Archbishop Lefebvre and others that have warned that the church risks becoming a glorified NGO. We now live in the time where that has become true.
Oh, it is true. It is true that the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, which is indefectible in her teachings, is just a NGO for Trump. Okay, just a Trump NGO and the the European rulers. To save the church, we must disobey the infallible head. To go to heaven, we must go through hell. Yes, yes, that is why I want to get married, so I can go to hell on earth to get to heaven in the afterlife. What?
In other words, they're going against the Pope's wishes to protect the papacy.
They're going against the Pope's wishes to protect the papacy. I'm going to go against God's wishes to save heaven. Yes, make it make sense.
And to protect the church.
And to protect the mystical body of Christ, I'm going to disobey the head of the mystical body of Christ. Which side are the SSPX on again? I do not know.
Go back to what I've said repeatedly in the past. An analogy I got from SSPX priests watching them on YouTube, that we are to honor our mother and father. We're to be obedient to them. However, logic does dictate that if you were to come home and one of your parents had way too many beers and started giving you insane directions, they were clearly intoxicated.
By the way, if that was true, they would cease to be the Pope. Because those who are insane are not the Pope. But wait, isn't that normal? Don't most people who drink beer do it purposely for the state of hilarity? It's like, oh, if someone did what he would do normally when he does that thing, oh no, what is going on here? Play the clip, play the clip.
Their analogy has always been that the Pope, the Holy Father, and not just the current one, but going back to Vatican II, all imbibe deeply of modernism.
So all the popes are drunk, totally drunk. They've lost all their senses. They're completely insane, and they're filled to the brim with modernism. But somehow they're still the Pope.
And they are intoxicated on the headiness of worldly acclaim and all the rest of it. And at some point, they'll come down and come to their senses.
Oh, the bad dad. What about if we did a PSA on beer? Because surprisingly, if he altered this analogy slightly, it would actually be true. Take it away, Dr. Steve.
That if you were to come home and one of your parents had way too many beers.
It's your old pal, Dr. Steve, and thank you for asking me to clear up a dangerous myth. I think most everyone knows that chronic alcohol use can damage the brain through thiamine deficiency. This causes a thing called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. It also can damage the liver through direct damage leading to cirrhosis, and the pancreas from intense inflammation that can lead to pancreatitis, pancreatic cancer, and even death. Some people have therefore raised the question, is light beer safer for your body, and does it get you as drunk as the hard stuff? Well, let's look at the science. Your liver is a factory. It doesn't care if the alcohol comes in a crystal glass or a cheap silver bullet. It processes it exactly the same way, converting alcohol into acetaldehyde and eventually to carbon dioxide and water. As we age, our livers get worse at this, of course.
Oh, but Dr. Steve, what if it was only light beer? Oh.
Picking a random light beer, say Coors Light, we find there is 95.8% water and 4.2% alcohol by volume. Therefore, a 12-ounce can of Coors Light contains 0.5 ounces of pure alcohol. A standard shot of vodka is 80 proof or 40% alcohol. So a 1.5 ounce shot will contain 0.6 of pure alcohol. In consuming a 12-pack of Coors Light, you've ingested the same amount of pure alcohol as 10 shots of vodka. If you lined up 10 shots of vodka on a bar and downed them, would you say, I'm hydrating? No, you'd be hammered. While the best strategy is not drinking at all, those who do choose to drink alcohol should be smart about it.
Yeah, don't drink and do heresy. Duh, stupid. if you're going to do heresy, don't do it while drinking. So I just love that PSA. I've watched it a dozen times. But that is actually, if you see, that's the point that Anthony Stein needs to make. It's not that the popes are intoxicated with heresy. It's that they're so smashed they've ceased to be human beings. I like that. Oh, I'm sick of paying $7.99 a month to hear Murray Rundis talk about holy hobbies. Oh. What would actually be funny is if Stephen did Cox News and he got literally all the Sede content creators to post there. And Sede Picante went behind the paywall. Oh no! You might have an actual show that was worth watching. Oh. Murray Rundis has to be one of the most retarded people I've ever seen. He literally makes errors that we've known were wrong for 20 years, and he's like, "But guys, I've got this hot take. Guys, what if?" I have no idea what he actually said, but I just remember looking at it, I was like, "Wait, are you serious? I thought we went over this." He also has me blocked on Twitter, so I don't remember what I wrote. Maybe we should just go and see. Oh, go to Twitter. Go to Twitter. Yikes. I'm getting messages. Post. Dietrich. Oh, Dietrich is on Twitter. Oh, I can't find it. Nope. Can't find it. Rats. And it was kind of funny, too. Maybe I didn't actually post it. Maybe I'm lying. Oh, that is right. I'm a big liar. Oh, scroll. Oh, there's those things that are sent to make me mad. Okay, never mind. Back to the show. Return to tradition. The world responds harshly to the SSPX announcement from February 3rd. Oh, Dietrich, he is our friend. We wish that we could have him on the stream, but oh no, he's such a jerk about it. Drinking and driving and doing heresy. And don't drink and blog. I don't drink and go to Cox News. Oh, yes. Breaking. Trad Catholics in formal schism by some hot chick who's like, "Hey, guys, I'm hot. Therefore, you should listen to me. I work for Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro is willing to hire any 20-year-old blonde. I wonder why."
Breaking. Trad Catholics in formal schism. The SSPX Superior General may have just formally schismed the group by proceeding with consecrating a new bishop, which is the sole privilege of the Pope. John Paul II excommunicated their founders for this.
Actually, he didn't. It was the cardinal in charge of the dicastery that covers this relevant thing, but you know.
She's jumping ahead in time a little bit here. And I don't know how you schismed. I don't think that's even a word. And they have not even consecrated a new bishop yet. But I've seen this variations on this take. People jumping to the word schism. I've seen people who otherwise should know better basically saying, "Oh, you should know better. You in the chat, don't you know about the war on crisis we're in? Saying schismatic. Oh, shouldn't say that. Ungrateful." And all this other stuff. Apparently, schism requires you to consent to it. So much for ipso facto. But you see, this is what part of the problem that we have with Mr. Stein, who has no spine. It's like, oh, we don't know if they're in schism. The letter of the law says they are in schism, but we don't know because we just don't know. I can make stupid arguments therefore it's not in schism. Oh, don't drink in church. In this clip, why all the lay people should never be taken seriously when they discuss theology. Yes, this is part of the reason why I say the Picante crashed out. It's because when you discuss theology with people, they go stupid. Yay! Here's the argument. In light of the SSPX's announcement that they will be consecrating new bishops soon, let's review what the church actually teaches about obedience to the Pope by relying on the authority of the subject. St. Robert Bellarmine, doctor of the church whose De Romano Pontifici stands as the definitive manual on papal authority. Pause. Really? You mean Robert Bellarmine is authoritative over Vatican I? Oh, and we're back to Novus Ordo. Pick whichever theologian you want, and then he is the only one who is inspired by God. We have accidental ex cathedra to St. Robert Bellarmine. Yay! provides a nuanced understanding of the limits of power that is often overlooked in modern discourse. And I want to pause right there.
Well, I want to pause right now too. So he puts St. Robert Bellarmine about Pope Pius IX, blah, blah, blah. My theological opinions over the church's authority. Welcome to the Novus Ordo. In this next clip, Stein is smarter than the Pope, the angelic Pope, the doofus podcaster. Oh yes, the doofus podcaster is better. Yay.
Protestants accuse Catholics of treating the Roman pontiff as if he has unlimited power. Everything he says goes, and we practically treat him as if he is Jesus Christ himself, and not
But he's the head of the church, and Christ is the head of the church. So, in a sense, that's right.
acting in persona Christi, but beyond that. And our
Ooh.
treatment of the Roman pontiff, at least, and I say our meaning very broadly, is almost validates what they say, because in the post-Vatican I era, after the declaration of papal infallibility was failed to be taught properly.
Yes, the only one who's ever taught the document fallibly is Timothy Flanders, who invented a new theology a few years ago. Oh, yes, yes. Papal minimalism. Yes, that is the true teaching. Not the whole point about the right to rule the church, which is the main point of the argument, not infallibility, but you know, we just have to make it up as we go.
People started treating the Pope like an oracle. Bizarre stuff.
Yes, the Pope's not an oracle. He's only a priest, prophet, and king. But he's not an oracle. Yes, yes. Yes, Stein just said the Pope isn't a priest, prophet, and king. He's only a priest and a king. Yes. So in other words, actually what just happened there is Anthony Stein just went into formal schism because he's an idiot. I forget why he went into formal schism. It's so annoying. The Pope speaks. You decide. But Stein isn't done blaspheming the faith. It's time for historicism.
Every office in the church, including the highest office, is primary duty is, of course, the salvation of souls, but also to preserve what was handed down to them. That limits the authority of the Pope. And you see this.
That limits the authority of the Pope.
Through the writings of popes on the liturgy.
And that is seen through the writings of the popes on liturgy. Now, I would like to remind you that the next line he's going to say is ex cathedra because he wants it to be.
Actually, many times asking, why can't you add whatever saint they particularly like to the canon of the Mass? And oftentimes the priest, the bishop, the Pope would say, I'm only the Pope, I can't change the Mass, as an example. Weird for us to hear in the 21st century, though.
Yes. So my point here is that teaching a nearly identical teaching to condemn things in Pascendate, and Stein is playing fast and loose with what is binding. And what is condemned in Pascendate is determining that you can use a historical setting to determine what is the nature of truth in the Catholic Church. And we'll get to the quote in a second. It becomes necessary, therefore, to eliminate also that accretions which the faith has added, and to assign to them to the faith itself and the history of the faith. In other words, we can edit the tradition. See the accretions, the addition of extra prayers. That's not actually the power of the Pope. That's the faith expressing itself through naturalism. So the Pope can't actually change the Mass, but then it does get changed. But it's not him doing it. It's historicism doing it. And that's from Pascendi Dominicis Gregis 30. It's a very interesting paragraph. And excluding from history and relegating to the faith anything which, in their judgment, is not in harmony with what they call the logic of the facts, and in character with the persons of whom they are predicated. Again, Pascendi Dominici Gregis 30, thus Christ was not divine, the Pope is not an oracle, saints can't be added to stuff because I've set up the system with my a priori historical principles, therefore the heresy has a lot of different children, but that's why the Pope can't add people to the canon of the Mass, because I've arbitrarily ruled that when the Pope said he couldn't, that was ex cathedra. Instead of the Pope just being in submission to tradition, which does not limit the Pope, it's just that the Pope is in harmony with it. But to use the word limit the Pope is to require to set up a very different model, which he hasn't entirely set up, so it just kind of sounds heretical. Because the Pope has the fullness of jurisdiction, and it is supreme. That is the right to rule the church. Yes. In a sense, it is just orthodoxy in a nutshell. Yes. In-go authority is 100% correct. They're old Catholics. Yes. The tradition is bigger than the person ruling. Make it make sense because the church canonized the tradition, and that's how you know it's tradition, but you know. In this clip, we're doing the same old dog and pony show. The quote of, "We must resist the Pope when he breaks the law of thermodynamics." Oh, yes. When the Pope creates matter and energy out of nothing, we must resist him.
We'll continue. Bellarmine famously argues that while the Pope is the supreme judge of the faithful and cannot be judged by any earthly superior, he is not a despot with absolute power to do as he pleases. Bellarmine makes a crucial distinction in Book 2, Chapter 29, regarding the necessity of resistance.
Yes. Now, Father Cicada says, in a word, the passage can neither be applied to the present crisis nor invoked against sedevacantism. Let's see what Stein is going to do with it.
Just as it is lawful to resist the pontiff who attacks the body, so also is it lawful to resist him who attacks souls, or destroys the civil order, or above all tries to destroy the church.
Yeah, so we have the article from zoom up. Where's the zoom? Zoom. The Bellarmine resistance quote myth. This was answered in 2004. The Bellarmine is talking about a morally evil pope who commands evil actions like attacking other countries, destroying churches, and it literally has nothing to do with the actual question. To sum up, the notion that the famous Bellarmine passage justifies resistance to the Pope and simultaneously refutes sedevacantism is based on ignorance of both the meaning of the text and its context. It is time for traditionalists to put aside these foolish ideas. But literally, see, that's the problem with people like Anthony Stein. Oh, it sounds good. It agrees with what I already think. I'll just put that out there as a probable opinion. Oh, thank you, Mr. Stein. You've just promoted heresy. And Bellarmine is talking. Spine has no Stein.
He clarifies that this resistance is not an act of judging the Pope, which would be a violation of the hierarchy, but a legitimate act of self-defense. By impeding the execution of his will, when the will is directed toward the harm of the mystical body, the faithful are actually exercising a higher form of obedience to the perennial magisterium. And this...
So yeah, now we can divide the magisterium into the magisterium of all time and the magisterium of this particular pope. Zoom. Therefore, oh yeah, I'm really being a better Catholic by resisting the Pope. Do you see how this works? I'm not only am I defeating the traditional teaching of the church, I'm also being a better Catholic. Like the Protestants are better Catholics. Yeah.
This is entirely where the SSPX's argument lies.
This is entirely where the SSPX argument lies, in being modernists. This is why the SSPX are actually laying out the pathway forward for James Martin types to completely and entirely destroy what remains of the church. Let's say the Sedes make a pope and they put him in Cincinnati. So what's to make the Cincinnati Novus Ordo clerics not make their own popes? Citing, oh, this fake Sede pope is taking away our souls and they're going to hell now. And he's not doing ministry to the LGBTQ alligators. See, this is why the SSPX are very dangerous and why we like them. Yes, the SSPX are arguing by purposely misunderstanding a doctrine of the church. I wonder if a liberal could use the same exact doctrine. All right, now we're in the final clip of the show, 2.5 minutes. The reverse the liberal with the conservative. Or something, whatever the note says.
They argue that when the preservation of the traditional Mass and the clarity of Catholic dogma are at stake, the duty to follow that which has been handed down overrides a specific administrative command to the contrary.
In other words, that's a denial of Vatican or Pastor Trinus chapter 3, which says the immediate power of the Pope to rule the church is supreme and absolute, and it referring to us in the disciplines. Now, what he needs to say, to follow that which has been handed down, which is the Catholic faith itself, and the administration, which says to the contrary, is Antichrist or the whore of Babylon. Yay! So Jimmy Martin can do what was handed down and ignore authority to the contrary. The German bishops are already doing this. Do you not see how the very argument the SSPX are using is literally made up of whole cloth out of the modernists? SSPX better get right and make 50
From this
bishops.
perspective, the act of consecrating bishops without a mandate is not an act of schismatic rebellion, but a necessary step to ensure the survival of the traditional priesthood and the transmission of the faith.
But a necessary step to ensure the survival of the women priesthood and the transmission of the plague. Yes, the plague. The transmission. Yes, we must protect the transmission of the religion. It's almost like there's a spelling error in here. Get the comments off for a second. Yes, the transmission. Yes. In this clip, the SSPX will violate more of Vatican I. Yay!
The legal dimension of this theological stance is found in the 1983 Code of Canon Law, specifically Canon 1323. Again, current Code of Canon Law here. This canon explicitly states that no one is liable to a penalty, such as excommunication, if they acted out of a state of necessity.
So do you see what this whole stupid thing is doing? It's not the SSPX are winning by doing this. No. Even if the SSPX make bishops, this is a big, big W for Leo. No matter what Leo does, as long as they recognize him as Pope, the SSPX lose and the modernists win. The state of necessity overrules the Pope. So if we can get a real Pope, why can't Jimmy Martin just keep the fake church going? Yeah, I think I made this
specifically Canon 1323, subsection 4 states that no one is subject to a penalty who, quote, acted under the pressure of grave fear.
Oh no, the grave fear. There's people in the closet who are afraid of something. No, I must live underground. Grave fear.
That no one is subject to a penalty who, quote, acted under the pressure of grave fear, even if only relatively grave or by reason of necessity.
Even if only relatively grave. So in other words, this is like the joke we made a long time ago, like, oh, I'm scared, I guess I'll make a bishop. It's like, no, this is retarded. No. And why the SSPX just don't go full Sede? It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Necessity or grave inconvenience unless the act is intrinsically evil or tends to the harm of souls. Crucially, the law also protects those who perceive a crisis, even if the authorities disagree, as subsection 7 exempts one who, quote, thought through culpable error that one of the circumstances mentioned in Numbers 4 or 5 was present.
In other words, this ensures that the Novus Ordos can always make bishops because they can always just appeal to the same argument.
All you have to do is really think they honestly believe there was a state of necessity.
Yes. So let's recap. By accepting Vatican II legal structure, the code enables the Novus Ordos to always make more false bishops. Yes, that is the actual hot take. Therefore, the SSPX are the very means by which the anti-church can use to validly persist forever. The SSPX do the work of Leo. Yes. The SSPX are being manipulated, and they don't even know it. In this clip, the person making the argument for the SSPX doesn't believe in infallibility. Oh, how about that?
When applied to the SSPX, the argument follows that if the bishops truly believed, based on Bellarmine's criteria, that the church was in a state of spiritual emergency, the automatic excommunications often cited by the Vatican are canonically void from the start.
If the president declares an emergency, the Constitution is null and void. That's the argument being made. Do you know how that turned out? We went to war in Iraq and killed a bunch of people, like 1 million people. Whoa, that's fantastic. So tell me your sources and I'll tell you you're an idiot. Yay!
Rob from Avoiding Babylon, the producer of that show, and I'll have something very much from his co-host here in a moment.
Idiot. Oh, Chicken Jackson.
The notorious Catholic writer, Chris Jackson. I say notorious.
Oh, he's notorious. And that was the last clip we clipped. And that was 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is plenty of time to get your fill of random Sede Picante clipping things and talking about them. So what do you think? Do you think that the SSPX are like with the very first clip of the show? that it's all a big conspiracy to pretend we're still in 1988 and that they really haven't moved on and that they should move on. Oh, yes. Or else do you think that, oh, they should just make 50 bishops and take over the whole Novus Ordo Church? Big notorious. Yes? Oh, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to say your rosaries and to do the good things in life. Yes, like eating lots of food before Lent starts, which is next week. Yes, next week is Lent. Why? Goodbye, happiness. Good night. God bless. Mary keep you. And I named all of my sons Marcel 1, Marcel 2, Marcel 3.